Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Manny Pacquiao, who just came off a very impressive win over Keith Thurman, is now considering fighting possibly Mikey Garcia, get the Mayweather rematch, but it looks like that's most likely not going to happen. Bob Arum, he just recently said that the damage that Manny Pacquiao took in that Keith Thurman fight is going to affect him for the rest of his life, meaning he believes that he received brain damage in that fight. In fact, Bob Arum had even said way before that fight, when he found out that Manny Pacquiao agreed to fight Keith Thurman, he said he might suffer brain damage in that fight. And now once again, Bob believes that he did. Bob Arum, he said, you cannot take punishment like that in your 40s. Manny Pacquiao, 40, about to turn 41, definitely absorbed some big punches in that Thurman fight. He says either fight Floyd Mayweather or retire. In other words, if you cannot get the Floyd Mayweather fight, just retire before you seriously injure yourself. From the sound of that, it sounds to me like Bob Arum, his biggest concern, his biggest fear is that Manny Pacquiao will get in the ring with someone like Errol Spence. Bob Arum, he believes that Errol Spence will completely destroy Manny Pacquiao. But you know what, guys? The way Bob Arum is defending Manny Pacquiao, especially considering the fact that Manny Pacquiao threatened to sue Bob Arum, Manny Pacquiao ended up leaving Bob Arum to go over to PBC and Al Heyman, Bob Arum's biggest arch rival and nemesis. You would think that he would be talking about Manny Pacquiao the way he talks about Floyd Mayweather, since Floyd Mayweather left Bob Arum. For some of you newbies that haven't been following the sport that long and you don't know the history of Floyd Mayweather and Bob Arum used to promote Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he paid to buy himself out of the contract, which was a major risk because it could have easily backfired on him. But because he was so good, it paid off. But when he was with Bob Arum was saying that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest fighter since Muhammad Ali. Once Floyd Mayweather left, Bob Arum started to compare Floyd Mayweather to Hitler and say all kind of other things about Floyd Mayweather. So it's not really that much of a surprise when it comes to the fact that Manny Pacquiao is a little bit closer to Bob Arum's heart than Floyd Mayweather. We know what time it is at the end of the day. But once again, the fact that Bob Arum will go out of his way to defend Manny Pacquiao and try his best to protect Manny Pacquiao, this explains why Bob Arum would all of a sudden come out of nowhere and say that it was him that killed the Terrence Crawford fight, when we had already knew that Freddie Roach had been saying for years that it was Bob Arum that wanted Manny Pacquiao to fight Terrence Crawford, and it was Manny Pacquiao and Team Pacquiao that did not want the fight. This is what Freddie Roach said himself. He said this on numerous occasions. But my point is, now that we see how close Bob is to Manny Pacquiao, it proves that Bob Arum, he said that about Terrence Crawford because he really cared about his friend Manny Pacquiao. But this is not the first time Bob Arum, he had a fighter that was avoiding someone where he wanted to make that fight, and because his fighter didn't want the fight, instead of Bob Arum telling the public that his fighter is avoiding this guy, he still made his fighter look good, which you would expect him to do. With that being said, there's no doubt about it, Bob Arum, he has a valid point when it comes to Manny Pacquiao possibly suffering brain damage or just getting beat up really bad. Because this also has something to do with maybe Bob Arum doesn't want to see Manny Pacquiao get humiliated or embarrassed by getting knocked out cold by an Errol Spence or another young lion like that. Bob Arum doesn't want to see that, and Manny Pacquiao fans obviously don't want to see that. But guys, I'll tell you this, the way Manny Pacquiao looked against Keith Thurman, I think that Manny Pacquiao definitely is such a special fighter. He's a very rare fighter that can get knocked out multiple times and still be on the same level. I mean, we've seen so many fighters get knocked out and never be the same. That's usually how it always works. Soon as a fighter gets knocked out, I mean, we've even seen some fighters didn't even get knocked out. They just got knocked down once and were never the same. Manny Pacquiao has been knocked out 3 times and he's still on the same level. Now he's in his 40s, so I don't believe he's the type of fighter that will be affected, at least not in the ring. Maybe years to come he'll be affected, but I don't think he's going to be affected. I don't think we're going to see a different Manny Pacquiao because he got hit with some good shots against Keith Thurman. regardless of his age. And in fact, even though I would pick Errol Spence to win the fight, I think Manny Pacquiao would do a lot better than people think if he were to get in the ring with Errol Spence. That is, until Errol Spence gets him on those ropes. Once he gets him on them ropes, it'll be a serious uphill battle for Manny Pacquiao. But it's a possibility. It's a possibility that Manny Pacquiao beating Keith Thurman may give him the confidence to get in the ring with Errol Spence, should Errol Spence get past Shawn Porter. I mean, really, there's really no other direction for Manny Pacquiao to go. If he fights Mikey Garcia, where does he go from there? The only options are Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, or a rematch with Keith Thurman, which Manny Pacquiao made it clear that he doesn't want a rematch with Keith Thurman. So he doesn't really have too many options. I mean, he could start cherry picking if he wants and just, collect checks. But I don't think that's what Manny wants to do right now. Let's see what Manny decides to do. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.